Welcome back to the breakdown, everyone. It is Thursday, August 15th, a 7-game MLB slate. So a little bit of a shorter video than normal, but we're going to talk about every single game, look at the starting pitching, look at how the hitting's doing, and give you guys some leans, predictions, picks, and everything in between. As always, we wrap up the video, talk about some hot and cold hitters and some good and bad matchups for some hitters today. As always, if you want to jump around in the video, they're all time-stamped down below. So if you only care about a couple games, feel free to jump forward to those. I do want to note, since it's a shorter slate, if you haven't been checking out our YouTube shorts, we've been posting some NFL futures in there. Yesterday we had under. The day before we had a plus 1,200 play. And then today I believe we've got another just straight bet that I really like for this upcoming NFL season, which is rapidly approaching. I mean, it's a Thursday. What are we, 3 weeks away from the start of the NFL season? I'm amped up for that. I'm not sure if the breakdowns will continue once that starts because I got to focus on getting the NFL season onto a good start, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's dive into the games today. The first one, Mariners taking on the Tigers. Now, yesterday, pretty low scoring game. I mean, whether they go to extra innings, Tigers came back there. Today you got Bryce Miller going up against Alex Faedo. Not a huge surprise to see the Tigers as sizable underdogs here. I like Bryce Miller a lot more than Alex Faedo. At the end of the day, this is a series that I haven't really touched a ton of. A lot of familiarity with these two teams because they just played a series a couple days ago, early last week. Honestly, I don't have a really good lean. It's an early start. Got a lot of early starts today, not a lot of late games here. I do like the Tigers finally getting Kerry Carpenter back. He's been scorching hot since he returned. Tigers, once they get Riley Green back in there, they're going to be a lineup that I actually don't mind backing. Right now, I still don't trust their whole lineup, if I'm being honest, but I like Bryce Miller a lot. I think he's really talented. I don't think he's as good on the road as he's at home. It's not a very uncommon thing for Mariners pitchers, given how pitcher-friendly their ballpark is at home. I still lean. I don't really see taking a lot of value in the Mariners on the money line. I mean, you're probably playing minus 155 or so. I probably am just going to avoid this game, if I'm being honest. There's really not anything that's jumping out to me. I do think there's some runs, though, scored in this game because each team has seen the posting bullpen a ton, and I don't know if they've seen Bryce Miller or not, but I imagine they probably did, or they got a lot of familiarity with their arms in there. So, again, probably just a pass on that game, if I'm being honest. Next game, we have the A's and the Mets. Yesterday, we went 4-3 on our picks. One of the losses was in this game. We needed the A's to score in the first 5. They did not. They scored in the 6th inning. That's just how it is. But today, they're going up against another lefty in Jose Quintana. I bet you they scored in the first 5 today. Mitch Spence will go for the Oakland Athletics. Obviously, the Mets took a little bit of chirping personal yesterday, and they smoked the A's. I think this game's a little bit closer here. But again, the A's, while they've been really good against lefties, that hasn't shown recently. They're also probably out Brent Rooker, who I believe his wife or partner is in labor or had a baby. So I don't expect Brent Rooker here either. Maybe he returns in their next game. End of the day, not really a game I'm looking at a ton. I do think the A's put up some more runs than they did yesterday. Would they get 1 run yesterday in the 6th inning? I think they get some more opportunities today. I don't really love Jose Quintana. I think he's average, and same kind of thing goes for Mitch Spence. Could the Mets offense finally be turning things around? They got to Joey Estes yesterday, but we talked about Joey Estes in our parlay. He's been terrible on the road. Can't imagine Mitch Spence has a 7.5 ERA on the road like Joey Estes does. Again, I think this is a tighter game. I don't think it's a blowout like yesterday. I think there might sneak over, but I don't know if I really want to touch anything in this game. Maybe I'll look at some sort of player props and see what's kind of sticking out over there. I know Mitch Spence has a 2.5 earned runs line, and so does Quintana, but his is well juiced on the under. Again, probably a game that I'm going to avoid, but I think the A's bats show up. Yesterday, everyone was on the A's in some capacity, which is never where you want to be when you're looking at a parlay of the day, needing the A's to score, and everyone had them over in the first 5, over in the first 7. Yeah, no, they got cooked. But I do like this. I do like a chance here. So I'm going to roll with maybe I'll lean something A's. I really wish Rooker was in that lineup. So that's the only thing giving me pause at backing the A's today, because obviously Rooker's not arguably, he is their best batter. So I'll probably avoid that game, if I'm being honest. Next one, we have Dodgers and Brewers wrapping up their 4-game series. Yesterday, a lot of runs early, but struggled to go over. Did finally go over in that one. Devin Williams is back, which is good to see. He absolutely closed the door on my Ohtani bases. I had Ohtani over 1.5 bases, and he had some hard hit balls. Got on base twice, but it was error and a walk. Had one right down the line that the left fielder played pretty well, so give him some credit. Today you got obviously Jack Flaherty going up against Tobias Myers. Myers has struggled a little bit more against lefties. So if you're going to look for guys like Ohtani to bounce back, maybe Freddie Freeman, who had a pretty good day, I don't mind backing those two guys. Maybe if you want to throw them in a hit parlay or something like that. Flaherty's been pretty dominant all year long. He will have a tough task, though, against the talented Brewers offense, who, sure, they won yesterday 5-4. Probably could have won by more runs, or at least both these teams honestly could have put up a lot more runs yesterday. A lot of stranded opportunities. I still think this is a game that I don't know if I'd want to take an over or under at 7.5. I mean, heck, I'd lean towards an over because either of these two teams can go out there and put up 6 apiece. And I'm pretty confident both of them at least gets you 2 runs. And Flaherty's been pretty good, but he's not going to walk guys. So Milwaukee's going to know strikes are coming. So they'll be swinging. And then you get Tobias Myers, who, I don't think he's a sub-3 ERA guy, if I'm being honest. But, hey, if he is, then, hey, go out there and cook a Dodgers team, which has been, putting up runs recently. Didn't get a lot yesterday after 3 in the first inning. I do think that they put up some more runs here today, and I think it comes via the lefties. So I'll probably be back on Ohtani. Not sure I'll take his bases, although that's probably green. I'll probably have him in a hit parlay. I do think that there's more runs than people probably anticipate in this game, but a 7.5 total is a little bit sus given these two offenses. But, hey, they can put totals based on the pitchers. I think there could be some sneaky runs in this game, or at least I don't think the under's a sweat-free winner. Next game, we had a disaster class from Mr. Robbie Ray. As we see the Giants take on the Braves. Robbie Ray didn't even make it out of the first inning. Shout out to Michael Harris for a grand slam. Today you have Max Fried going against Logan Webb. Now, I never back the Giants if they are facing a righty. Today, I would actually be a little bit more inclined to maybe back the Giants, who are trying to avoid getting swept here. I don't normally like to read into, hey, let's try to back a team to avoid getting swept. But, hey, Giants season's basically on the line here. I mean, you have to win at least one game here. And they got their ace, Logan Webb, and he's been dominant at home. I think he goes out there and pitches well. Max Fried has honestly not been great recently. And the Giants, if they're ever going to get anything going on offense, it's going to be against a lefty. I think they could get something against Fried. And then you need Logan Webb to hold things down. You get a 7.5 total. Kind of like the Giants on the ML here. Their bullpen's been better than the Braves recently. I just don't want to trust their bats, man. I really don't. But I do think that Webb gives them a shot today. And that's kind of all you got to bank on, is that he gives them an opportunity. And then it comes out of the bats. Can they show up today? Against the lefties, probably the only time I've ever backed them. I think they could show up and get Logan Webb some run support. But again, like I said, the Giants fans just haven't been there. Normally, they've been like a top 5 offense against lefties, falling back to 15th. I'll have to look at how some starting pitchers have done against them that are lefties and see if we really want to pull the trigger on a Giants money line. Again, that's where I lean, because I normally lean towards teams that avoid getting swept, but kind of nasty trying to jump in front of a buzzsaw that is the Braves getting back Michael Harris, and Logan Webb is definitely due some bad starts. He's not unhittable. He'll give up his fair share of hits. It's coming out of and getting those timely outs, which is important. The next game is one that I have a heavy lean on. It's Red Sox and Orioles, another divisional matchup here. Not a surprise, the O's is -155. Today, Nick Pivetta going to win Zach Eflin. One thing I'm looking at is a first 5 under here. Kind of shocked to see an 8.5 total. I was expecting closer to a 9 or 9.5, given how bad these bullpens have been. Looking at maybe a first 5 under. Not sure I'm going to pull the trigger, but Eflin's been pretty solid. He's given up, I think, 3, 2, and 0 earned runs. Boston's obviously a tough matchup, but worth noting, Eflin's been actually much tougher on lefties. Here, I even have his splits pulled up. He has a 3. Yeah, he's given up 3, 2, and 0 earned runs. And against lefties, which we know the Red Sox are going to stack, just a 232 batting average compared to a 282 to righties. So if he can hold the Red Sox in check, all of Pavetta's, lines is 15.5 outs, sure isn't high, but he has a 1.5 earned runs line against an O's team that's been mediocre versus righties. I'm looking at a first 500. No way am I taking a full game, because Red Sox ERA and the bullpen in Baltimore is terrible, so maybe it squeaks over there. But I do kind of like a first 5 under. I'm going to take a peek at it, look at the lines. That might be my best bet of the day. We'll see in the best bets video, which we posted after this one. But I do kind of like an under in that first 5. Like I said, not going full game because those bullpens are terrible. But first 5, you might be able to get in and out and then run away. That's kind of all I would want, especially at unders these days. Feels like you always get cooked. Next one, we have the Washington Nationals traveling to take on the Phillies. Because the Phillies have figured it out. They got a Kyle Schwarber grand slam yesterday. Today they've got Zach Wheeler, and they're huge favorites. The fact that they're -270 and only -125 on the run line makes me think the Nats keep this one close. Mitchell Parker, It's not been good recently. Let's not distract you from that. And Phillies have been really good against lefties recently. I think it's the sneaky one that goes over. The Nats have the bats to put up runs on Wheeler. They've shown that before. And then Mitchell Parker, I think he gives up his fair share of runs. Bullpens give up their share of runs. I think it's an over. I don't think people want to back an over with Wheeler, but look, I just don't think the Phillies with Wheeler on the mound are free on the run line. I think that's people will still trust them even though they've been terrible. I think Wheeler gives up 2 earned runs, and then maybe the bullpen gives up another 3, or not a 3, but maybe another 1 or 2, and maybe you're looking at a 5-4 final score or something like that. Wouldn't shock me if the Nats cover here. Probably not sticking my reputation out there with Mitchell Parker on the mound because I hate him. I hate him now, and he's been bad on the road. But this is a game that I do think goes over the 8.5 total. My next in the final game of the slate, like I said, short slate here, only 7 games, with the Twins taking on the Rangers. The Twins coming off a 4-1 loss yesterday to the Royals. And the Rangers, I believe they won. They came back in that game against the Red Sox. They were down by 3 or 4 and came back. Today we got Bailey Ober starting for the Twins today, going against Cody Bradford. Now, typically on the season, if you're pulling stats for the Minnesota Twins, really good against lefties. Recently, not so much. Maybe they'll turn that thing around. Late at the second half of August, we'll see. Texas has been better against righties. If you know anything about Texas, they refuse to score in the first 5, but count them in to score in the 6th and 7th. They pour on the runs then. Their bullpen hasn't been really good recently. Not a surprise to see the Rangers as slight home underdogs here. I do like Ober a little bit more than Bradford, but Bradford's pitched well in his limited exposure this year. Both teams, honestly, very similar on paper. I mean, we're talking about kind of batting averages, sure. Maybe they're worse against lefties than Texas is against righties, but you see batting average with runners in scoring position. These feel like 2 very similar teams. You could get 10 runs one day and 1 the next. And I don't know if that's a series I want to stick, put anything on, but we'll see. I think the Twins probably win this one. I like Ober a little bit more than Bradford, and I like their bullpen a little bit more than the Rangers. But again, the Rangers, they come back late in games, so be a little bit scared. Don't start counting your money if you're betting on the Twins. I think this is a tight game. Maybe the Twins lead through 5, and then maybe the Rangers come back, and we got a tie game exiting the 7th inning or something like that. Next, we're going to talk about some hot and cold hitters. Like I said, shorter video than normal, but if you want to go check out those YouTube shorts, I will link them at the end of the video. 2 of them for some NFL future bets. We got another one coming today. Here's some of the guys that are on fire. Shea Langoliers. I needed a hit from him badly yesterday. He was 8 for 8 in the series, or at least he had a hit in the 8 straight games. Betting 600 over his last week, 1.588 OPS. He was crushing it. Yesterday, I don't think he did a whole lot, though. Jorge Soler has been crushing the baseball. Adolis Garcia, props to him. He had 2 homers yesterday, 3 hits, maybe 4. He was really good. He's starting to figure things out. Will Smith and then Bryce Harper. I got to give them their credit because typically Will Smith and Bryce Harper, if you've been watching the breakdowns, they've been in the bottom half of this list. Bryce Harper finally figuring things out, and Will Smith kind of getting things going, too. Guys that are still cold. Brandon Nimmo, he's been here the last few days. Still kind of struggling, getting on base. Same with Bryce Trang, not really doing too well, getting their walks, so they're stealing and getting runs and stuff. So still doing their job. Kyle Schwarber, obviously 3 for 23, not great. Did get the grand slam yesterday, so maybe he doesn't deserve to be here. But hey, the batting average isn't too hot. We're still going to call you out. Anthony Santander, guy that's having a really, really good season. Not swinging the hottest bat the last week, but obviously Santander back at home. He can turn things around quickly. But again, there's things to note. Maybe you're looking at these guys for hit parlays. There's some guys maybe I want to avoid right now, but maybe they're figuring things out. We'll see. Guys like Will Smith and Bryce Harper were just there, so maybe these guys will start to creep up in that hot category soon in the next week or so. We'll see. And then finally, we talk about some good and bad matchups. Some good matchups. We have Devers. He's been really good, 6 for 13 against Eflin, 2 homers in there. We got Michael Harris, who just returned yesterday and had that grand slam in the first inning. He's 5 for 8 against Logan Webb with the homer. We have Marcus Semien against Bailey Ober, 5 for 9 with 2 homers, not too bad. And CJ Abrams against Zach Wheeler, 5 for 16, not the best batting average, 313. But of those 5 hits, 4 of them for extra bases, 3 doubles, and I believe a triple in there. So pretty solid splits for those guys. Maybe you're looking at backing them. Those are guys that are in some solid matchups. And then we got some guys in bad matchups. Michael Conforto, lefty on lefty with Max Fried, 2 for 21. Jorge Soler against Logan Webb, 2 for 14. Elliot Ramos, who typically crushes all lefties, and maybe he does crush Max Fried today, 0 for 5. And Juan Yepes, who's been a very big addition for this Nats offense, 0 for 6 against Zach Wheeler. So maybe you've been back in those games and maybe you want to avoid them today. But those are going to be some good and bad matchups. As always, I appreciate you guys for supporting. Parlay play entries will return tomorrow. Maybe we'll do an underdog fantasy entry. Again, appreciate you guys for tuning into the breakdown. Tomorrow we'll have another edition of it with a full slate because it's a Friday. Today's a getaway day for a lot of teams traveling and whatnot. Tomorrow we got a full slate of action, so we'll stay tuned for that. I will link some NFL futures on the screen for y'all to check out. But a plus 1200 one, and we got an under. Go check them out. Let me know if you like it. Comment in those YouTube shorts your favorite future bets that you might have locked in for the NFL season, and I'll take a peek at them. And of course, if you want to go check out our best bets video, it should be live a little bit later after on this one, and we'll have another parlay of the day for you to tap into. But you guys have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you guys back again tomorrow. You guys have a great day. See you in the next one. And go check out the best bets video when it is live, which will be a little bit later after this video. Go check it out. Peace.